I want to also quickly give you guys an update on my court case with the government and ExxonMobil. I told you guys last week that the government asked for 1 month extension, telling the court that the matter is a complex one and they need more time to seek out expert advice and guidance, Adam Harris. Wow. Days after that, this is on Friday gone, ExxonMobil also joined in, asking the court for extra time too. So that uncle and auntie will push the court case further. In the meantime, every day, ExxonMobil walking away with our taxes. Bernard, namaste.
Namaste.
Mm-hmm. Vice President Jagdeo and the rest of politicians are not making mistakes, uncle and auntie. They are deliberately staying silent, turning a blind eye, and most times telling us half-truths. And, Adam, in most cases, they're hoodwinking the nation with them flimsy language and excuses they give to people. Uncle and auntie, I promised Friday to give anyone $1 million if they can show me one oil contract in the last 50 years that is worse than the one Guyana has. Adam, can you help me? You want $1 million? Today is 3 days gone, and not a soul, not any of the oil companies, not the Vice President Jagdeo, not the opposition leader or Ramjatan, call me to get that $1 million. But let me say this, uncle and auntie, that offer still valid. I hope somebody win it by Wednesday with a contract that says or shows it is worse than the one Guyana has. You want to take up the bet, Adam?
I won't even try.
Okay. A lawyer asked me, Glenn, what do you think is the most dangerous aspect of this entire oil deal with Guyana? What bothers you most with this oil contract, Glenn? And I said to him, sir, we have several damning provisions in that contract that no other oil contract on earth has. And the very top of that list is the stabilization clause or provision. I am so happy that not only lawyers is waking up in this country. I am told right across this country, this radio program has become a topic of conversations on the roadside, in the bars, bottom houses, and almost in every conversation people are having with their friends, families, and even strangers. Stabilization clause, uncle. Stabilization provision in that contract, auntie. This is the main part of the contract that Jagdeo, Norton, Ramjatan, and President Ali does hold up and preach sanctity of contract. The contract can't change. That's what sanctity means. It can't change. If you change it, you're breaking the laws of God Almighty. That is what sanctity means. It is sacred. Not true, Adam?
Correct.
Correct. It is an unbreakable vow that our leaders have taken when they marry Guyana to ExxonMobil. Auntie, when you marry, you just take a vow to be faithful and true to your partner and always do the best for each other. Well, this vow is the total opposite to, to a marriage. This vow, Guyana's leaders give ExxonMobil the right to interfere, to molest and sodomize every citizen of this country, including your unborn children. That vow, Adam Harris, also allows ExxonMobil to invite friends to join in and do whatever they feel like to the Guyanese people with joy. And the only way Guyana can stop this vulgarity is if ExxonMobil agrees first. You didn't hear what I said, Adam?
I hear you.
The only way Guyana can stop the vulgarity, the raping of this country, is if ExxonMobil agrees first. That's the contract Raphael Trotman under the coalition signed, that bind all of us to a predator like ExxonMobil. This government, Harris, you used to sit in the editorial department with me every day. Yes. Not true?
Correct.
And I used to warn you and the editorial staff about this contract. And you used to fight me now, no?
Yeah.
You remember? But this government, when in opposition, was very angry over the contract terms. They were very loud about what they will do to reverse this insanity. You have heard many times, I play on the radio, President Ali himself, when he said, we got the wrong end of the stick. It has to be reviewed and renegotiated. In case you guys never hear it, I have a tape to play for you. But I think, man, I should play that tape now. Don't play it. Before you play, hold 1 second. Before you play it, let me tell you, Uncle, he has said that how we get a wrong end of the stick and it must be reviewed and renegotiated. All of them said that. Today, when people are asking them about this contract and this oil deal, man, it's a different tune they're singing. Man, if they're cussing, now you're going to play that first tape with President Ali and let them hear when people ask them about this oil and this oil operation and the oil deal. Listen what he said. Play it.
I need to know what is happening with the oil blocks. Could you please share something with me?
And the oil blocks will be auctioned. We're examining the possibility of a national oil company in the auctioning. So you have an opportunity to put in a bid.
You hear that?
That was at Bartica.
Bartica. He get offended when the lady asked him, tell us something about the oil blocks. He told the woman, let me tell you if you didn't hear him clearly. He told the woman, we got the pieces that we are getting back through relinquishment will go on to auction and you can put in a bid. You see how disrespectful a president can be on a citizen that asks a very simple question. Please tell us a little about our oil blocks. You know? This is the change this man wanted. Two face, two mouth, two tongue. I used to warn Adam Harris every day in the editorial department. He just said, boss, Adam Harris, I'm glad you're here. Play the next tape for me. Let the nation hear what the vice president saying. These are money that Guyana will never see, maybe in a lifetime. 30 billion American dollars.
But it's not our money. It's not our money.
Yes, sir, it's our money.
No, but if they invest, all right.
So these people are making that you said 75% is coming out on a daily basis was cost oil. So how it's not our money?
No, but again, you get the 30 billion and then you will make all this money too.
Oh, no, I'm not asking about that, sir. Don't do me that.
That was at the press conference the other day.
That was at the press conference just a couple of days ago. Many occasions they talk. You see, when you ask him, when you put questions to them, that's when I ask him about the $30 billion out there, that our oil, 75% of our oil is coming out every day to go pay back for those loans. He says, now we money, is the people money. And then when he done, he tried to say, well, Glenn, you should. And I tell him, said, don't disrespect me. Don't do that to me. You know, this is the kind of reaction you get when you ask very simple, straightforward question to them. You know, it is so sad. As for the opposition leader Norton, he afraid to use the word renegotiation, but he won't change. Uncle and Auntie, I don't have a tape with him. The reporter deleted the tape from her computer. If not, I would have played it for you guys to hear. But he told Guyana, that in a written statement. Yes. As for the other opposition, the AFC boss man, Kemraj Ramjatan, he said, this is a super contract. The best thing ever happened to Guyana. He continuing where Trotman left off. The man even called me a chatterati, Adam. I ain't even know the meaning of chatterati until now. You know? But he didn't call my name. He said he wanted from the newspaper. You know? We had an interview with Christopher Am last week. And you got to hear when Christopher Am asked him, you have that tape. Play that tape for me, man. Play it. You guys listen.
Well, if you wanted to have a better agreement, I think that you'll have to form a political party, go and win an election.
Nonsense.
That was an interview, I think was Sunday gone, last Sunday or Wednesday, with Christopher Ram on WRHM.
And he tell Ram to form a political party.
When, you know, he told, when Ram asked him to talk about the deal we get. I will play the whole tape, but I just give you a little snippets of tonight because based on my program. I'll play the entire thing for you, for the people to hear. Man, there's so many things to talk about. There isn't enough time to do these things. But you know, you just got to play the appropriate piece, right? So people understand. The man showed on at Christopher Ram and tell you, well, if you want a better deal, you go form a political party. This is the kind of disrespect these people have. These clungs for leaders or politicians have for the people of this country. Wow. Father, you got to help me. Yeah. Or Adam, do you know the meaning of chatterati? I really don't know the meaning. Man, and you know, Bernard, these are the thing that bothers my soul is that these are the people y'all staying on your finger for, man. Is why else are you going to stay on your finger for, man? Adam Harris tell me, we agreed, three of us agreed that we will not vote for any of the political parties the last election. We agreed, you know. Lo and behold, Adam and the other one walking with a finger stain. Adam,
I didn't agree.
had I voted, I think the creator would have upset with me. Guys, I play those tapes so as to remind you as to what the leaders of this country, their positions where they are on renegotiating this contract. Let me give you some words that they hanging their hat on. The wedding vow that's so sacred it cannot be broken. If not, the world come to an end. Yes. according to these them same clowns you hear there just now, these morons, these misfits, these nincompoops, yes, these failures, Adam Harris, and fraudsters we have for politicians in Guyana. People is telling me, man, Glenn, be nice to them, man. When you listen to those things, Adam Harris, you can be nice to them people. It says in Article 32 of the oil contract, our wedding vow. You hear me, Adam? Our wedding vow, meaning Guyana and ExxonMobil wedding vow. And I want to read it. I want to read word for word so you guys hear me. Can you put it up on the screen too? Put it on the screen. Except as may be expressly provided herein, the government shall not amend, modify, terminate, declare invalid, or unenforceable, require renegotiation of, compel replacement, or substitute, or otherwise seek to avoid, alter, or limit this agreement without prior written consent of the contractor. Should I read it back, Adam? Okay. Those are the actual words in the contract that these clowns keep insisting, like their prayers, that bind this country. Although the clause ended by saying specifically, uncle and auntie, this thing cannot be changed, it says, without prior written consent of the contractor. You know what I mean, Adam? Simply put, that wedding vow that bind we unborn children to slavery can be broken. It can be changed, corrected, or fixed overnight if the leaders write them and say, come to the renegotiation table and let's talk over this contract. It is as simple and straightforward as that, Adam. I'm not going to call your name anymore for tonight. I'll go back to Miss Harris. Let me read back Miss Harris. That very crucial and important piece for all of you. It says, except as may be expressly provided herein, the government shall not amend, modify, terminate, declare invalid, or unenforceable, require renegotiation of, compel replacement or substitute, or otherwise seek to avoid, alter, or limit this agreement without, let me repeat, without prior written consent of the contractor. TOR, T-O-R, Adam Harris, not T-E-R. You know I'm not too bright in English.
No, you're good. You're good.
Good, thank you. Maths I am good at, right?
Sorry.
You know that. What those fancy legal words mean, auntie and uncle? ExxonMobil have to agree to changes. It doesn't mean nothing can change. It just means our leaders have to demand the changes. Bring them to the table. Look what the Trinidad and Tobago Prime Minister did recently, uncle. He called BP, British Petroleum. That's one of the 5 biggest oil companies in the world working in Trinidad, and told the president of that company, told him, put together a team to sit down with the government team. The president of the oil company asked him, sir, Mr. Prime Minister, did we do something wrong? The Prime Minister tell him no. Sir, did we break the laws of Trinidad and Tobago? The PM again said no. But when a contract, the PM tell him, man, when a contract benefits one side and one side only, he said that is not a contract. Adam, 6 weeks, to be precisely 7 weeks later, both teams met and Trinidad and Tobago was able to walk away happily, where they got what they demanded by way of renegotiation of their contract. The Prime Minister was clear, uncle, in his demand and had told them, you are looking out for your shareholders, BP, and he has to look out for the people of Trinidad and Tobago who are his shareholders. Isn't that a leader, Miss Harris? Huh? That's a fine leader. That's a proper leader who looks out for his people at all costs. This is all we're asking President Ali, Vice President Jagdev and the opposition leader Norton and Ramjatan to do for us by bringing ExxonMobil to the table and stop telling us this nonsense about the contract can't change. It's set in stone. It's signed in blood. I don't know who blood. This thing can change, uncle. And if they don't want to do it, me and you got to shut this country down. Me and you got to shut this place down so that we can get them to do it. We can force them to do it. Because they are the elected leaders. Yes, them is the people you're staying on your finger for. How long can all of us continue to live under these conditions, man? In which you can't move at all. You're bolt down. You're anchored down, Adam. You're tied down 10 trillion times worse than how people just tie up an iguana. It's like you tie a donkey with a fat chain, iron chain too. No copper chain, to a concrete post. Then chain the donkey front and back foot, leaving his mouth to eat whatever is thrown at him. And his nose is left for he to breathe until the donkey dead. That is where Exxon has every Guyanese at present with that contract Trotman signed, Miss Harris. This is the same contract that the present government, who when in opposition, said they will change. And today they are deaf. Yes, today they are dumb and blind to it. I didn't hear a word from you, Adam Harris. You're sleeping away on me there.
No, man.
Oh.
As a matter of fact, I hear Jagdev tell you that benefits. I listened to the press conference only today too. Adam, this was one of the questions I wanted to pose to the Vice President on a one-on-one, he promised me. But because the lawyer asked me, I decided to speak on it tonight. It has been lingering on my chest for a very long time now, eating away at my stomach, keeping me awake. I had spoken on it on one of my programs early last year, and a few other people, including Christopher Ram, have spoken about it already. But it has not registered, and like it's not sinking in people's mind. So I decided to do a special program tonight on that clause alone. But when the question was asked by the lawyer, Adam Harris, that's how I realized that I can't wait for Jagdev one-on-one to discuss it. So guess what I did? I called a few friends. Yes. I called a few friends. Adam Harris was one of them.
just to ask them the same question, Uncle and Auntie. You know, Miss Harris, what do you think is the worst? Me ask the same question. Me ask Adam. Say, Adam, what do you think is the worst part of this whole deal? And even Harris was like, "Bye. We know that royalty is nothing, and the profit is nothing. But what we can do, yeah." Jack Dave them say he can't change. And when I hear this thing from the couple of friends I ask, is then I realize people really don't understand the full depth or danger we are in. It's like all over people talking about royalty and profits, when that is the least of the troubles this country has over its head at present. That's the least trouble we have, man. Getting nothing is nothing. That's not the trouble. Adam, is what it's doing to you. You don't got nothing to forget, fine. But it's what it's doing to you. It's how they're chaining you like a donkey. You hear me, man?
I hear you.
Thank you.
I hear you.
Let me be clear to you people. Other than that stabilization clause, Harris, Miss Harris, not Mr. There are many other aspects of this contract that are more destructive to us than that royalty and profit are you getting. Wednesday, I will continue to give you more. But for tonight, let's stick with a stabilization clause. And this Nancy story that the contract can't change. And we got to live with it for quite a while into the future. That's not my words. Those are not my words. Jagdeo words. Yes. That clause tie up Guyana like a donkey for the next 60 years or more once I'll still there. You see how long you tie up for? You tie up for a day, you know. Yes, 3 generations and more if oil is out there. Uncle, it's like a young man marry your niece or your daughter, your beautiful daughter. And tell she have to stay in that house. Can't go anywhere until death. And whatever he give her to eat, when the day come, or whatever he give her to drink when the night come, that is how she got to live she life. That's the Guyana contract Raphael Trotman signed with ExxonMobil and Jagdeo, Ali, Ramjatan and Norton. Yes, have your children, every one of us, living with it. Miss Harris, that clause in the ExxonMobil contract is so evil, so wicked, so nasty, so stinking, and bent on robbing a nation, went as far as to say that if Guyana do anything that will affect ExxonMobil pocket, anything extra, then me and you have to foot that bill. Me and you got to pay every cent. Man, who agrees to something like that? Huh? Trotman signed that contract. But he said he was acting on instructions. Man, can somebody tell me, or can Trotman tell us who instruct him to sign such a contract? Which fool or idiot instruct him? If Guyana changes the law, Miss Harris, Mr. Bernard, you're sleeping away.
Not at all.
If Guyana changes the law, uncle, that will affect the oil company them in any way, shape or form, my gosh, Guyana Treasury, your tax dollars your biscuit money and the breadcrumbs you getting have to go to repay whatever they lose out. Let's go a little further, Ms. Harris. If Guyana raises taxes, you hear this one, man. If we raise these taxes in this country, the oil companies, them are exempted. If Guyana puts a regulatory body in place for the oil industry, and them change anything that affects the oil company pocket, them just have to send the bill, how much money them lose, and it all comes out of them poor people pension money. Yes, we got to pay it back. Auntie, if Guyana change its own laws, Bernard, if Guyana change its own laws, it cannot affect the oil companies. They're above our parliament. Their contract is bigger than the constitution of Guyana that governs all of us. How you like that? That contract. Is this our country, man? Are we still the owners of the oil in the Stabroek block? Huh? You still own oil?
Not anymore.
I should take a breathe in here, man. Wow. Wow. Let me tell you guys another important area of the stabilization clause that's in the contract. I think that part, that's a mantra. The last part of the marriage vow, Adam, says if the government and ExxonMobil can't reach an agreement as to the demands of this country, then we must go to a third party arbitration. Uncle, it means we must go to court. Not court in Guyana. Not the CCJ. Guess where, Miss Harris?
The World Court.
The White Man Court in England to get justice for we brown and black and purple people. Oh gosh, like I said, we courts, including the CCJ, is not good enough for ExxonMobil. They want a British court. And guess who's paying?
We have to pay.
ExxonMobil has 700 top lawyers of the world. 700. Yes. They got 700 lawyers on the ExxonMobil team. Who you think pay for it? Guyana pocket, if we ever go to court or to arbitration. Man, to pay our legal arbitration fees, we gotta pay if we win or if we lose. Guyana has to pay from we isle. That's in the contract, Uncle. Glenn Lall is not making this thing up. These are all questions you guys got to ask these people. You guys have an idea what a fee look like, Miss Harris? In my estimation, it will run Guyana more than a full year of its oil profit or with royalties. That's the kind of money we're talking about. What a bind are you finding yourself in? Staining your finger for these clowns who promise you to do all the best things on earth to make sure your children get a good life. All contracts, Mr. Harris, have stabilization clause. It's a standard thing in contracts. It's always good to bind parties to a contract because you don't want anybody to take advantage of each other. That is a protection for both sides. Everybody got it, man. A contract with a stabilization clause that only benefits one side is not a contract, man. It's a crime, Harris.
Yep.
It's a criminal offense in my book. And the criminals should be placed before a criminal court, not no arbitration court. Good night. Where is the protection for Guyana in this contract? When you're joking me in both of my eyes, then throw pepper sauce inside. Then turn around and they hug me, kiss me, and say, use me 50-50 partner. And we got to live like this for life. Harris? This is how these leaders want us to live for the rest of our lives with ExxonMobil. Like slaves and beggars to ExxonMobil. Look, dog, you take this bone and don't bark at me. Mr. Harris, Suriname oil contract has a stabilization clause in which they agree that only the 36% taxes the oil company has to pay to that country remain. You hear that? That's the only thing they agree to. The 36%, 36.5% taxes they set out, that's the only thing them stabilization clause stick to. That would not increase, even if they change the law. Any other changes the government wants to the contract, the oil companies has to abide by. If they change the laws, the oil companies have to follow suit, have to abide with and follow through. If they pass a law, Adam, that says royalty rates to increase, put your pot on fire. The oil company better go down on their knees. If they want more local content, yes, for their own people, the oil company has to bow to that. The only thing that stick for life, let me repeat, in the Suriname oil contract is the taxes. And they agree to 36.5%. Oh boy. What tax we get?
0%.
No, nothing. 0%. And we can't change the law to say bring in taxes. That lopsided contract, uncle, that these clowns we have for politicians sign on to, none of you can even ask ExxonMobil to buy a pin to pin up your underwear that is falling off some of you. That's how they tie up this country. In spite of everything I've said there, Adam, Jagdev is renewing permits and running faster than ExxonMobil to approve more and more oil fields for them to continue to rape and sodomize every citizen in this country. What the opposition saying? Norton, find him out after the horse bolted this table. After Jagdev approved the Ford project, then he opened his mouth and said we could get something from them before he approved the Ford project. But he didn't say it before. I didn't hear nobody ask Ramjatan anything. But these are questions I would like to get. As a matter of fact, let me use this opportunity to invite Comrade Ramjatan on this program publicly. I want him. I want Aubrey Norton, the opposition leader, to come on this program. Please, gentlemen, you're invited on this program to have a debate, to have a one-on-one discussion. Please, please, come on. Somebody call them if your them gets along well and beg them to come on the program. Should I done tonight? Huh? Because all of them know All of them, no changes can be made. Made to that one-sided contract that cement all of us like a concrete post. All of them know that. If only they open their mouth, Exxon can undo everything. Let me be clear, Ms. Harris. Let me be clear to every one of you out there, Uncle and Auntie. ExxonMobil needs us more than any other thing on earth. So don't let nobody, especially these clowns we have here, tell you otherwise. We don't need them. You don't need them. And certainly Glenn Lall doesn't need them. Not for what we are getting. So we can tell them to get out. The damages Exxon and others are doing to this country at present, Guyana will have to live at the World Bank and the IMF and every other international, CDB, IDB, Exim Bank, all the financial institutions of this world for loans upon loans to correct and fix the mess they will leave us in. We don't start already. The $100 million them borrowing for the East Bank, Demerara Road, is what the oil companies already damaged. With all them thousands of container trucks running on it every second of the day and in the night, fetching stuff for the oil operation going on out there. This is what happened all over Africa. Just take a look, Google it, you will see what's happening there. Is the oil companies have those countries in that state of poverty. Half of that, the African continent, is actually back into, I should not use the word slavery publicly, but it's there. Where all their infrastructure is destroyed, completely destroyed. The roads, the bridges, the city fences, the hospitals with no medicine, no clean drinking water, and so much more. Schools, children at hundreds of millions of people are going, children can't go to school. All because of incompetent and corrupt leaders. Please, Auntie, please, Uncle, I am begging all of you, from every village in this country, when these people that y'all stain y'all fingers for come to your homes, your towns, or your villages, or wherever you butt up to them, ask them about your oil, man. No other question you should ask about except about your oil. And please let them don't tell you anything other than get rich. We are the fastest growing economy. How are we going to get rich? Talking about school and dispatches. No, don't do that to yourself, man. Ask them about the oil contract. Ask them about the oil. And when they get upset, do just what I did there. You heard me. I told the vice president, don't do that to me. Not in a nice way. But I didn't want to be too rude and disrespectful. I wish they can talk to me like that in the open. Then I'll give them the rightful answers. We are the talk of the business world, Mr. Adam Harris. Guyana is on the lips of every world leaders on earth. Because they want a piece of us for themselves. What happened to me and you, man? What happened to we peace, Adam? And our children peace? What happened to that? Huh? What happened to our grandchildren share? Or we don't have mouth? I'm not hearing you, man. Yes.
Hearing,
You're hearing. Good. Thank you. The French ambassador. You know, I can't get this thing out my head. The French ambassador for the region. He based in Barbados. Man never come to Guyana to even see what this country look like. And he's the ambassador responsible for this entire region. As soon as we find oil, he jumped on the plane the next day and reached here. Telling us he would love to see Total, his French oil company, become an operator in Guyana. In Guyana oil basin, just like ExxonMobil. Yes. Guyana is a cash cow. He come for tell we that he company Total is another large oil company out of France. He hoping that Total become an operator like ExxonMobil. He did not hold a press conference, Mr. Harris, to talk to the Guyanese people. He sat down with that clown critic to spew that disrespectful and disgusting nonsense, behaving like a thief in the night. That's how they behave. You know, he couldn't hold a press conference for come tell a Lall or a Kaieteur News reporter that. Don't want to face you daytime when you can see his eyes as he speak. You want to run in the dark and telling you his oil company should be an operator. It's the same France that is collecting 500 billion American dollars every year from the African continent in debt payments. Yes, that's how they left the entire African continent. How can these things come out your stomach? Huh? The president of France, Jacques Chirac, says if it wasn't for that 500 billion American dollars every year going to France, they would have already been a third world country. They rob the poor, hungry Africans using their corrupt leaders with visa and a few $1 million so that their families can live in France happily ever after, while the country is left in ruins. Look right here. When the PPP lose election, did you notice how many of them run out to live in the big world?
Finance Minister.
Huh? The finance minister actually sing the guru. He can't go work elsewhere. Jack Dale had to wait for he come back to take up that position. And he's not a finance minister. Let me repeat this thing. He's not a finance minister. He is the minister responsible for finance in the office of the president. You know why he's not the minister? We don't have a finance minister. We do not have a finance minister, Mr. Adam Harris, in this country. You know why? Because the finance minister can be held accountable. He can go to prison. But when you don't have one, when Ashley Singh make the decision out of the office of president have that power to do whatever he wants to do. This is why, you see, you so smart these people are. They're safeguarding tomorrow that they don't go to prison.
They're smarter, not to get good for Guyana.
Let me end tonight's program by talking about a protest today which went on at Houston, and I attended. We had two protesters beating their drums, and I noticed something. It really touched me. We have been keeping this protest for weeks now, from Houston on the east bank of Demerara, opposite the shore base, to Coffee Square, and now back to Houston. All the time we were silent, walking up and down with our placards. People passing, whether walking or in their vehicles driving, they didn't pay us any attention. But today was a big difference. I went out there with my placard pasted on back and front of me and had a flag. Yes, and I was dancing to the beat of the drum. Yes, that is what attracted people's attention. On both sides of the road we had them dancing. Man, you got to see how people are honking their horns in support. That's how I catch their attention. I am thinking now to bring Shah Rukh Khan and Buju Banton to help us bring attention to this wholesale thievery of Guyana by ExxonMobil. What do you think, Miss Harris?
Good idea, good idea.
Huh?
That's the only way to get guys use the cover.
The Home Affairs Minister said people like them can't go.
Going on 2 years now. 3 days a week I am on this radio program. Yes. Taking the fight to unbind, untie, and unchain we. We hardly hearing the vehicles noticing us, much as pumping their horns. As soon as a drum knock, man, they want to come and dance with us. I hope to see some of you join us tomorrow because the protest continues. Right at East Bank, at Houston, at the shore base where all the ExxonMobil operation going on. I will let you guys know on the next program who I'll be bringing. Whether I'll bring Shah Rukh Khan first or Buju Banton first. For now, I'll take some phone calls and Adam will join me. I got to go back. I got to go back to the Kangan that I was invited. I was invited. I'm not going to pope it. Adam,
My friend.
if what I've said there about that stabilization clause, which sits in our contract, you still don't understand, let me put it another way. That Exxon contract has put every Guyanese in a column box. You know when you build your house? Yes. The columns where you will box wrong? Yes, they put every Guyanese in one and cement all of us up to our chin. Look at me here, on my chin. Leaving our mouths to eat whatever they throw at us. Our nose to breathe, eyes to see, ears to hear, death coming until we die. That's the stabilization provision. And Jagde will approve the 5th project, another one by year end. Any bets? Because you people will sit down and sleep in your house. And they will continue the same trend they are. The Supreme Court of the United States ruled that women in 10 states can no longer have abortions. Is that so?
Yes.
Yeah, Roe versus Wade.
Yes. They said, what exactly is that?
Roe versus Wade.
Yes.
overturned,
Women now cannot have abortion.
And they locked the
There is massive protests going on.
right.
Massive protests going on for days now since that ruling. I think Joe Biden wants to get involved all across the country just for abortion issue. Huh? Man, if they get a contract that cement them up to the chin, what do you think would happen to America, man? Or if ExxonMobil give America the contract what Guyana, they give Guyana, what do you think would happen in America? The whole place would have been in ruins. Yeah, man. Here, look what they're doing. And you people still sleeping. Mr. Yog Mahadev had a protest today. in front of the president, calling for renegotiation of the contract. Anybody joining him there? We need more protests right across this country, in Essequibo, Berbice, Demerara, Linden, Bartica, Blegwan, Wakenham, you name it. We need more protests all over to bring these people to their senses. I would just want to end with this beautiful story a friend sent to me. Allow me to share it. Yes, share it with most of these thieves we have for politicians. It's really them, not you, uncle. A man dead and saw God coming closer to him with a suitcase in his hand. God said, "All right, son, it's time to go." The man was surprised, says, "No? So soon? I had a lot of plans." God replied, "I am sorry, but it's time to go." What do you mean? What do you have in that suitcase? The man asked. God answered, "Your belongings." My belongings? You mean my things? My clothes? My money? God told him, those things were not yours. They belong to the earth. Is it my memories? The man asked. God responded, those things never belong to you. They belong to time. Is it my talents? The man asked. God said, those were never yours. They belong to the circumstances. Is it my friends and family? God said, I am sorry. They were never yours. They belong to the path. Is it my wife and 2 sons? God said, they were never yours. They belong to your heart. Is it my body? God said, that was never yours. It belonged to the dust. Is it my soul? God said, no, that is mine. Full of fear, the man took the suitcase from God, opened the suitcase, only to find it empty. That was a beautiful story for our politicians. When you leave this earth, you're leaving with nothing. You're leaving with an empty suitcase. God bless you guys.